Welcome to another episode of Ozfish. Welcome aboard the bass boat. Dave here. Let's get some. I'm out in beautiful Lake Macquarie again today, the largest saltwater lake in the southern hemisphere. Love fishing in Lake Macquarie. What I thought I'd do today is something a little bit different, something I haven't done before. It's just do a little bit of a lure review in relation to the Samaki Vibelicious, a truly amazing lure to use in Lake Macquarie. Caught so many fish on the Vibelicious, and Josh from Samaki Fishing has done a fantastic job in relation to designing and creating this soft vibe. So what I'm doing today is, I've got 4 sizes of vibe. So I've got the small 10 gram Vibelicious, and it's a fantastic lure. It's an awesome lure all round. Like, you'll catch like lots and lots of big flathead on the small vibe. You'll catch surprisingly a lot of brim on the small vibe. They really love it. You'll catch a lot of squire, and I've also stung Jew up to 70 and 80 centimeters on the small vibe. So they're really versatile. There's a fish on the small Samaki vibe. Taking me time because you might have it right down. To start, like, that fish is like a like a 53. It's been very tough fishing today, but let him go. And just caught that flathead on the 10 gram Samaki vibe. So yeah, nice one. Got him on the little 10 gram Samaki Vibelicious. Fight really hard. Yeah, baby, silver trevally. Just on dark. But got him on the 10 gram Samaki vibe. Brown shrimp. Good colour. If you look at the Samaki vibe, it's made out of this beautiful like 10X material, and it is super tough and super resilient. You can throw this in amongst tailor schools that you get a lot in Lake Macquarie, particularly as we come into autumn and through the winter, and they'll stand up to a lot of abuse from the tailor. So that's one of the major advantages. The second advantage is they have a beautiful profile. They just look really good. They just look like a small sort of like bait fish, and you can get them in the fork tail and the thumper tail. And I haven't really used the thumper tail, but what I really love is the fork tail. The advantage of the fork tail is it keeps the profile of the lure really slim. It gets down really quick. So yeah, it's a fantastic lure. It's got nice eyes on them, and the way the eyes are glued on seem to be really good. They seem to hang in there and don't sort of like fall off like the Jackal Trans Am. Another fantastic vibe, but the eyes will come off the Jackal Trans Am really quick unless you super glue them on when you first get the lure. But the way they've done the Samaki Vibelicious eyes, the way they attach them is really good, and they really hold up to a pounding. They have great trebles on the lure. They're sticky sharp, and they're pretty strong. They stand up to a lot of abuse. And this is the colour that I'm using on the 10 gram. It's called brown shrimp. And yeah, great all-round colour. Caught so many fish in the Hunter River and Lake Macquarie. Perhaps stands out a little bit in that dirtier water as well. Because at the moment the water's pretty dirty right through the lake. So yeah, the small 10 gram Samaki vibe, awesome. And then you'll step up to like the 14 gram size vibe. This colour's whitebait, one of my all-time favourite colours, whether I'm fishing Lake Macquarie or whether I'm fishing the Hunter River. Right around Australia, that whitebait pattern will just catch you so many fish. And the 14 gram is just a really amazing sort of like in between the 10 gram and the 20 gram soft vibe. So again, it'll catch you just a multitude of species. So I've caught a lot of big flathead on this medium-sized lure, and even the Jew will love this medium-sized lure. When you're on the tailor schools fishing in the winter, you'll quite often see the bait that the tailor have got balled up, and they're a very similar sort of size to this. They're that kind of like, you know, like they're in that 3 to 4 inch range, so this sort of mimics that really well. So yeah, the 14 gram, it's just a fantastic vibe, and it throws just such a long way. That's the one advantage of vibe fishing, is that you can just cast a vibe so far, and you can just cover so much ground with a vibe. It's a fantastic searching tool. You can just search all around the boat for fish, and it just allows you to be in the strike zone for a long time when you get a big, huge, long cast in. So yeah, that's the 14 gram in whitebait. There's the fish I've been looking for on the vibe. Big flatty, just really close to the boat. Hasn't really woke up yet. Just take your time with him. Oh, it's a good fish. He just won't run away from me. He's woke up now. It's good that he's going out deep a bit. See if I can ease him up. Keep his head down. Nice flatheads, 73. Got that lure way down. Sucked it right in. So yeah, that fish is a beautiful fish. That came on the 14 gram Samaki Vibelicious. So really big head. That's a fish I've been looking for. So let's get it back in. Beautiful. A lot of bait in here, and I know whether they're salmon or rat kingies. They're going hard. Come back, come back. Rat kingies in the shallows. Even those little fellas go really, really hard. Just belting them on the vibe, they'll go anything, I guess, but little tiny rat kingies. Epic fight in 2 foot of water. And of course, one of the all-time favourite sizes on the Samaki Vibelicious is the 20 gram. Amazing lure for big flathead, an amazing profile for jewfish in Lake Macquarie. It really, really mimics the size of the bait that the tailor are smashing in the winter. And yeah, it's got beautiful big silver hooks on it that add flash as the vibe's coming through the water. The hooks are actually sticky sharp, and they're actually really strong and resilient. They'll stand up to a lot of fish. The vibes are rigged on a split ring. You can just tie straight onto the split ring. It'll give the vibe lots and lots of movement. And this is a fantastic colour, like pearl perch, kind of similar to whitebait in a way. But again, a natural colour. I do like the natural colours when I'm vibe fishing. But yeah, another fantastic looking lure. 10x material, super tough, You belt this into tailor schools and salmon schools in the winter, and yeah, you'll catch a lot of big flathead, even good sized squire. Jewfish love them. And of course, this is like a 30-gram vibe. So when I am vibe fishing, I like to have that big dog vibe as well, just to see if I can catch a really big flathead. The Jew will just scoff these, you know, like 30-gram vibes, like they're jelly beans in the lake. They're good when they're really windy. They get down really quick into the bait schools and the bait balls, so it's another fantastic lure. And while we're talking about the 30-gram vibe, I'll just give you a quick little fishing story. I was fishing in Lake Macquarie about 3 to 4 years ago, and I was using a 30-gram vibe, this large vibe. So I saw a small patch of birds, and then there was a school of salmon like busting up intermittently in the lake. So I just sort of cruised over to them, and I just waited for them to pop onto the surface. And after about 2 to 3 minutes, they popped again. I roared straight over to them, got upwind of them, and I just cast a 30-gram like Samaki Vibelicious straight into the center of that school of salmon. And the lure got down really fast, hit the bottom, and I just gave it like 3 or 4 lifts, and I just got smashed immediately by a Jew of about 80 centimeters. So that Jew was just laying, probably a number of Jew there, but that Jew was laying straight underneath those salmon school, just feeding on any sort of bait that was just sort of stunned, or little bits of bait, you know, like coming down, and they were just feeding on that. But yeah, a fantastic lure is the 30-gram as well. It'll take your big dog flathead as well, so always good to have a really big vibe. And I'm going to punch those around to the lake and see if I can catch some flathead and perhaps a Jew. There's not so much salmon and tailor pushed into the southern end of the lake yet, but fingers crossed, I'll see how I go. So yeah, if you want to get the Vibelicious, I highly recommend it. Josh has done a fantastic job. And one of the great things about a vibe is you can anybody can use it. You can give it to your kids, they can catch fish on it straight away. You can give it to your wife, your girlfriend. You can take your mates out on the boat who don't do much fishing and they haven't got any experience. But yeah, you just throw that vibe out, you know, just give it a lift and wind down onto it, and you'll start to catch fish straight away. So today, yeah, I'm fishing the 10-gram vibe, I'm fishing the 14-gram vibe, I'm fishing the 20-gram vibe, and I'm fishing the 30-gram vibe. So anyway, it's right in the middle of the day at the moment, about 12:30 in the lake, so it's not the best time for fishing, but I'm just going to have a bit of a cruise around and punch some vibes out, and hopefully I'll be able to show you some good flathead that you can actually catch on the vibe. Maybe some bream and squire, maybe a big whiting. They love the smaller vibes as well, so let's get on it. So using a soft vibe is just an extremely easy thing to do. Just put in a big long cast, click your bail armour over immediately, begin to wind to take up the slack. As that vibe's falling down, always be conscious that you may get hit on the drop. Okay, the braid's relaxed, hit the bottom, take up the slack, big nice long lift, and wind really hard down onto that lure. Just keep a little bit of tension on the braid. You don't want loose line. You want the braid to swim as true as it can on that little bit of tension on the braid. Just lift the rod up and wind down. When it hits the bottom, lift up and wind down. Yeah, rinse and repeat. With a vibe or soft plastics, don't be afraid to, particularly chasing flathead, work the lure all the way back to the boat, because I've had so many big flathead actually smash me right at the boat. The flathead will travel a long distance along the bottom chasing your lure, and they will come right up in the water column to smash a lure. I've had them swim up from 30 feet and hit me 2 feet under the water, right at the boat. And just lifting the rod, that simple technique, that's something that a lot of guys, that's the only way they fish a vibe, and it catches you know, a huge amount of fish, just doing that. It's so simple. Okay, another retrieve that I find really effective on a vibe is a double pump. Long cast, click the bail arm over, take up the slack, make contact with the vibe, and then one big lift by another little. So really like your flathead fishing, just to double pump it. I've caught a lot of fish on the double pump. I should imagine the double pump is putting out a lot of vibration, and the fish are picking that up on their lateral line. Sometimes you'll catch fish on the drop on a vibe. A lot of times you'll hit the fish the nanosecond that it hits the bottom. After that double pump or lift, the fish will jump on it, smash on it. So be really vigilant in relation to when the fish strike the vibe. And people often say to me, what does it feel like when a fish hits the vibe? Well, it's just like flathead fishing with a plastic. Probably the best way to describe it is you're going to get a tick, big, strong, definite tick in that braid, and the moment you feel that tick, strike. And you can just sort of relax on that lift. You don't want to lift it too sort of fast and sort of blow the vibe out. You want to just that moderate lift. Well, the old vibes, they even catch squid, you know, catch multiple species. Beautiful little bait squid, but on the 20 gram, Vibelicious, but yeah, not what I'm after, but you can go back, mate.